wouldn't park as I opened the door. Baby, you wait in the truck. Old photographs scattered on the ground. Take a breath and my mind gets stuck. I can hear the screams, I can hear it all. Is it all just in my head? This whiskey bottle is keeping me sane, but I'm stuck in the past that night in the rain. Flashing in the headlights, eyes like a forest fire, running out through the woods. Screaming through the treetops, crashing through the mountains. This guy is up to no good. My blood ran cold as my lights caught a flash of something out across the plains. I stood there staring at a blood-soaked human covered with fur in the rain. The night the werewolf came. The night he went insane. Bloodshed in the rain on the night the werewolf came. The night he went insane. Bloodshed in the rain on the night the werewolf came. The crowd gathered round out there in the woods with guns all ready for war. Shots were fired at the big black beast. I can still hear him roar. The rain that night was a hell of a storm, and the blood ran cold as ice. But no one saw him hit the ground as he ran into the night. The night the werewolf came. The night he went insane. Bloodshed in the rain on the night the werewolf came. If you're out in the woods and you hear the scream, you better get ready to run. 'Cause the beast is coming, he's mad as hell, and he ain't scared of a gun.
What's up? Hang on one second here. We're trying to get things screwed together in the studio. We're just going to keep on poking until we get everything lined out. Oh, it's dark in here. That's right. My wife messed with my buttons. I'll fix it. Hey, we're back. We're back in black and glad to be back. What's going on, everybody, tonight? It's been one of them days. It's been one of them months, you know. Yeah, I'm still smoking, so y'all just gonna have to deal with that. The way I look at it, man, ain't no sense of shutting the gate when the horse is already running around out in the yard. But my beard now, that's another story entirely. This sucker looking raggedy. Looking raggedy. That's what happens. So, what are we talking about tonight? Well, we're talking about SQ. Of course, you guys have any questions regarding any kind of SPL or any kind of car audio stuff, I'll gladly answer those as per normal behavior. Got a few people in here tonight. You guys done forgot that I'm doing Friday night shows. I was going to do them earlier, but 9 o'clock seems to be a good time for me. It's when my brain is starting to wake up pretty good. I'm able to focus on something. I do get up early in the morning anymore. I wake up about somewhere between 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning up to maybe about 9, generally in the AM though. And which is kind of new for me. I've been a night person for years, and I just started doing this whole morning thing because it's more convenient. Franco Quaid is in the house. He said, "What's up?" And Josh Holden from Cincinnati, Ohio. What's up, Josh? Nice to see you tonight. Well, I don't have a whole lot of soda in my cup. I'm failing to prepare. So, while we wait a little bit for some more people to show up in the stream, I usually do questions. I've been messing around tonight, and we're going to answer questions about my medical stuff. We're also going to be talking about the Chrysler 300 that I'm working on right now, which is my new daily. But to keep things interesting, I'm going to show you guys something I've been working on this evening. So we're going to jump over here for a second. What's up, Hitman? Oh, son, that's a good question. We'll discuss that. That is absolutely a good question. And I'll get back to you on that one because I've got some ideas, but nothing is set in stone yet. A lot of crazy ideas in my head, though, and I'm leaning towards a specific couple, but nothing is locked down. So let me pull up my other screen over here. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to give you the first-hand look at what I'm working on. So let's see. We're going to do entire screen. That screen. Share. This is my Suno screen right now. And I just got done writing this song. There's a lot in here. But I just got done writing this song. And I haven't figured out what I'm doing exactly with it yet or not, or even if I'm doing anything with it. It's kind of in the test driving phase. But I'll let you hear a little bit of what's coming out of Suno right now. Make sure I have my audio right. Yeah.
Prolificate the fornication, blast the dip and robberize. Spit the new radio station, play the hits and tell you lies. Average hackers, scammers, slackers, DJ brag whores, rusty back doors, yellow red, the color orange. Blast the orbit on the door hand. No mistaking what I'm saying. Walking, mashing, dodging, dashing. Keep the slasher, haptic slashing, flashing. Time more pick the flashing. Drug deals, stashing. Got profiling, tail light out, harassing feelings. Rattling, prepare for frisky. Time to run, I'm way too busy.
Let's see, that's one rendition. This is another one. This one's kind of totally different sound to it. But check this out.
Roll out.
This one's the one I'm kind of leaning towards.
Prolificate the fornication, plastic dip and rubberize. Pick a new radio station, play the hits and tell you lies. I reject hackers, spammers, slakers, DJ crack whores, rusty back doors, yellow, red, the color orange. Blast the orbit on the door hinge, no mistaking what I'm saying. Button mashing, dodging, dashing, keep the slasher hacking, slashing, flashing. Time or flicker, flashing, drug deal stashing, cop profiling, tail light out, harassment, feeling, spreading, lean, prepare for frisking. Time to run, I'm way too busy. I gotta get my roll on. Gotta get my roll on. Oh, yeah.
What do y'all think about that? Let's see here. So, all right, let's start at the top here. Hitman Buck. What type of enclosure am I using for the new whip? Man, I can answer it just by simply saying yes. I'm considering sealed. The only thing I'm really not considering too much is a standard ported enclosure. Yeah, I know, right? I thought so too. Of course, the bass is going to get completely amped up whenever I get done with whatever I do. I kind of like the tempo of the second version, though. I'm still messing around. I got a lot more runs to do before I find something I like. But I can also do a mix. You want to see something else cool? I'll show you something else cool. You guys are going to get some learning today. Let's go back over here for a minute. So I played this one second, and I played this one first. Yeah, I played that one first. So like this one, a little bit different.
Roll out.
All right, so like if I like this one and I like this one, right? What I can do is this is going to you guys are going to love this crazy shit. So I can say mashup. Now if I go ahead and hit mashup, it'll pull the track over here and put it up here, and then that's this track, right? Then I can hit add another song to mashup, and I can come down here and pick this track, which I've got selected as a thumbs up, and then I can keep the lyrics current. And now it puts both of those two tracks in here at the same time. And when I hit the create button, it'll actually mash them together. And guys, yes, you can do this with pre existing copyrighted tracks as well, as long as you slow them down or detune them slightly in something, a program like Audacity. You can put them both together and it will mash them together and create a new song. Not something you could make money off of, but it is something kind of cool. So yeah, you can mash up literally anything you can think of. You can mash up Johnny Cash, "I Walked the Line" with Straight Outta Compton, and it'll put those two together. And you can even tell it to mash up the lyrics as well, or you can keep the lyrics to one or the other. Let's see what this come up with, and those two mash together.
Roll out, roll out, roll out. Prolificate fornication, blast the jet and rubberize. Pick a new radio station, pay the hits and tell your lies.
That's kind of cool. This is one. It always gives you two outputs whenever you do anything.
Roll out, roll out, roll out. Prolificate fornication, blast the jet and rubberize. Pick a new radio station, play the hits and tell your lies. I reject hackers, spammers, slackers, the jet crack whores, rusty back doors. Yellow, red, the color orange. Blast for orbit on the door hinge. No mistaking what I'm saying, button mashing, dodging, dashing. Keep the slasher hacking, slashing, flashing. Time will flicker, flashing. Drug deal stashing, cop profiling. Tail light out, harassment filling. Spread and lean, preparing for free.
So yeah, that's kind of how that works. Now I'm gonna jump back over here. I ain't trying to give you guys an all night version of Suno crazy insanity, but just kind of showing y'all what I mess around with whenever I'm not working on the car. I'm always creating the music that I'm going to be playing in the car. I can play something finished for you here in a minute. So he's asking about the enclosure. Now here's my thoughts on that. I could do a standard issue, ported enclosure, firing it toward the freaking trunk, or whatever. Yellow Wolf on Downers. I could do that, firing it toward the corner or firing it inside, seal it up. But for SQ, if you build a ported enclosure for sound quality, you tend to want to do it completely differently. So wherein you're doing your SPL or just standard issue boombox for most people's trunk, you want the port to be in a spot where you get most of your bass, right? You want to whatever you play the most, you want that port to be right on top of that to give you the most power in the notes that you generally play. An SQ, that's exactly not what you want to do. That's creating what we would call in the musical or audio world distortion. Anytime you change a signal in any way, shape, or form outside of its normal frequency range and bandwidth and levels, it's distortion. In its purest form, that's what it means. So most people think of distortion as, but that's not the only kind of distortion. Anytime you distort something, take a balloon, squeeze it in, or take it and stretch it out, you've distorted it. It's distortion. Same concept. So for an SQ build with a ported enclosure, what you typically want to do is find out where the driver rolls off at, where it's naturally going to start nosediving in signal, and you port somewhere in that area so that you can create a longer shelf for the subwoofer. That's where When you see a ported enclosure in an SQ environment, in a house, movie theater, any kind of thing like that, musical, like on stage, if you see ported enclosures for bands to use, that's what they're doing with the port. They're using the port to pull up the area down below where the driver would normally fall. They're using that port to reinforce that area, so you end up with a longer, flatter shelf before you lose low end. Um, and that works really good. It also requires a big ass enclosure, so you know, because you're going to be putting a long port inside of an enclosure. But that's not impossible. I got a huge trunk to work with. I'm more concerned about. So you can also do that same trick with a DSP. You can boost the frequency range where the subwoofer's starting to fall and force it to play a little lower. You can't do that a lot because you're going to wind up causing mechanical failures, but you can give it a little help. And I can do that with a sealed enclosure. I'm also considering, more importantly, a bandpass, not a bandpass, but an infinite baffle enclosure, which is technically not an enclosure, but it still fits in the enclosure category because it has a baffle, which I guess it would be a first order enclosure. I think. Yeah, I think it's a first order. It's just an infinite baffle because it has orders or controls. So anytime you add something to the sound or control something with something, it's an order, basically. So an infinite baffle would be a first order. The only order would be is stopping the front wave from connecting with the back wave. That's what the baffle does. That's why a sealed enclosure works, is because it is literally an infinite baffle. So it's sealing off the back wave from the front wave, but it's also controlling the sub. That's why it's not a first order. It's like a second order, I think. It's controlling the subwoofer's movement as well as affecting the sound. So that's two control points. And that gives it, I think it's a second order. The two orders. We're getting into orders. I'm not really super good in orders, explaining them, but you guys get the idea anyway. If I get the nomenclature wrong, cool. As long as the communication is good. So an infinite baffle in my situation would work quite well because I don't need a whole lot of output. I just need a long frequency range. But the coolest thing about it is it's cool. I mean, how many builds do you see on YouTube with IB in them? Okay. There's a few, but you can probably count them on one hand. Right. And so I think it's a good space. There's a couple of advantages to an infinite baffle. One is it requires no enclosure. Therefore, you can use the entire trunk for trunk, which means it's going to look stock as hell. There's not going to be hardly anything that you can see that's going to give away the fact that there's a system in there. On the other hand, that element doesn't do well for video because it doesn't have any visual. So I have to think about all these different things. But an IB setup could be cool. And there's a spot for, I believe, a 10-inch in the back dash of the car. I think it's got a spot for it. I think there's a cutout in the metal for a 10-inch. Certain systems that car came with had a 10-inch back dash IB subwoofer. And I could add some plywood, reinforcement, a lot of sound deadener, and utilize that. So that's a possibility. Another one would be to do something like a ported enclosure with the ports firing up into the 6x9 locations in the back dash to allow the bass inside the car. Because that's the thing, I have to get the bass in the car. I mean, it's got really solid back seats. They have carpeted full metal backs on them, and there's a split between them, but it ain't very big. The armrest does not reveal a ski hole. So there's no real way for shit to get from here to here besides just forcing itself through, which it will do. It will get in. The bass is going to come in. It ain't going to stop at the seats, but it will definitely slow it down a lot. And I don't want to put a shit ton of power on it. So I have to try to build it in an efficient way. And what is most efficient? An infinite baffle. An infinite baffle is extremely efficient. But to do one properly, you need the sub that's designed for that possibility. It needs to, for one, it needs to have a QTS of around 0.707, somewhere in the 6 to 1.0, so like 0.6 something to 1.0, in that range is where your QTS needs to be to get a really good IB sub. The higher the number, the looser it is. The lower the number, the tighter it is, basically. That's not exactly true, but it's to get your brain to wrap around it. So a sub closer to 1 is going to play lows a little better, but it's also going to be a little harder to control. And most of your subs designed for ported enclosures are designed much tighter. They're down in that 3 and 4 QTS of 3.3 something and 0.4 something. Those are designed more for ported enclosures. They're very, very tight subs, very rigid. And what would happen is if you put that in an IB, you're not going to get very good low end response. So you want one with a higher QTS to get the lows, but you also can't put a lot of power on it. There's lots of variables involved here. So as you can see, I'm working over lots of ideas. The first iteration of this system will have a sub enclosure in it, most likely, of some kind. It's going to be a basic, easy to get, easy to install subwoofer, right? Because that's the budget side of this build. The final form, though, is going to have most likely an 18-inch sub from Slaps on a 2K, I believe it is. A 2K or a 3K, probably a 2K. That's the final form. That's going to be the last step of it. And it's going to probably be, I don't know if it's going to be infinite baffle or not. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. That's the answer to your question. Still up in the air. And XXG from Indiana. What's up, man? Glad you're here tonight. And he says, I need someone close to design an enclosure for my 2017 Equinox for 215s and a sixth order. Ooh, sixth orders. Yeah, and that's who you need to talk to, the guy I linked you to, for real. It may be a pain to get his time, all right, to get him to work you into his schedule and stuff, but it's worth it. He's going to be the best one for that job. Let's see here. Shadow Phage. What's up, man? He says, the bass on the second version sounds fire. Yeah. It reminds me. I'll play one of my finished tracks here in a second. Bass Villa said Yellow Wolf on Downers. Yeah, when I wrote all this rhyme, let me pull this over here. Here we go. When I wrote, let's see, here we go. When I wrote all of this is all the stuff that I wrote for the track. I wrote it for like a 90 beats per minute, and it's actually out. I'm gonna have to step up my game a little bit on the BPM, the controlling the BPM in Suno, and give it a more of a controlled BPM because it's trying to put it down at 70 beats per second or beats per minute, and that's a little bit slow. It needs to be a little faster because the way this all should flow is a fairly rapid fire rap, and it's spitting it out slow. So I got a lot more work to do on that. But mainly just to teach it what rate I want things to move at. Shadow Face said, "Yo, I made it. Hey, boss, what's up, man? I wish you guys could come over here and hang out with me sometime. You get a kick out of the stuff that I do. I do crazy stuff. I got rid of my wheels up the pull-offs from the Crosser 300 today. I listed that shit on Facebook. I said free wheels and tires. And like within like, I don't know, 5 minutes, I had like 15 people messaging me. And I was like, oh man, I just started copy and pasting first come, first come, first serve, because I didn't want to have to deal with all that, man. Finally, this one lady messaged me. She said, yo, I'm in, I forget what town, but it's about 35 minutes away. She said, I'm in this town. And she said, I really need them tires, but, um, I can't afford to drive up there if they might be gone. I said, you know what? I said, you're the first one to actually talk to me. And so, you sure you're coming? I said, I'll take them off and you can just come pick them up. And she said, I'm sure, I'm sure. So I, uh, I pulled them off there and let her come pick them up. Her and her husband come up here in his truck. And it's a pretty nice guy, pretty nice people. Um, but I've always given my stuff away like that. I'm a crazy person. Um, is trunk turned to lithium going to be back and going to restock? Yes. I did leave a message in the members. Well, the people that look at the channel, my channel here, and the little social area. I forget what it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. I left word for word what Brandon said in there, and I believe he said that sometime by the end of this month he'll be back in stock. He's trying to make sure he doesn't run into problems again because he got hit so hard so fast he wasn't able to keep up, and so yeah, he's wanting to make sure that he's got plenty of stock to handle orders, to have like I think he said a 48-hour turnaround. So when you order something within 48 hours, it'll ship. He wants to make sure he can honor that. So he's making sure he's got the stock ready to handle orders when he goes back on. So just keep your eyes on the prize and know that the man actually cares about his customer service enough to make sure that things are getting squared away before that happened again, because that was making him very uncomfortable. Um, Base Villa said, looking forward to see how I pod the A pillars. Yeah, me too. I hadn't decided yet. So on that subject, I have a couple of things I can do. So first of all, and everything wants to stick to these things. First of all, I have these guys. These are little Harmony carbon speakers, and they got a little tiny carbon cone in them. These are incredibly good sounding little drivers. These would be a direct drop in for my dash with a tweeter. On the other hand, sticking to everything also, I had these guys. These are the little Sundown SAs. I think they're like $50 or so for a pair. I got them for like 20 something because I caught them on a sale. Interesting thing, they actually have an aluminum dust cap and an aluminum cone, I think. But they have this inverted surround, and these things are rated to play from 200 hertz to 20K. And here's the thing, they can play much lower than that if you want to take them to a level where they're not supposed to be. I put these in a 3-inch piece of PVC that was like 5 or 6 feet long and ran them as a T-line, a little subwoofer T-line. I have videos up where I had these guys in that T-line pipe and we were playing 30 hertz, 40 hertz. We were playing some deep, deep stuff. These things were completely wide open signal, unfiltered, and were generating genuine, solid, low bass. Um, they're tough as nails. They're great little drivers. But here's the kicker to them, and they're supposed to be a direct drop in for stuff that has a 3.5-inch driver. But as you can see by looking at the ears, they do not line up. They may, I guess, possibly line up. Yeah, I guess they kind of almost do. Maybe they do line up with the very, very inside point of this. So maybe they are a direct drop in. But I think either one of these two will work in my dash. These have a larger cone and a tweeter, and they sound amazing. These have a smaller cone, and they're rated to play like a tweeter. They also sound amazing. I would put either of them in a system. But here's the other elements. There's lots of more stuff to consider. The Both of those two are going to be limited to, in the realistic world, maybe 300 hertz at most down low. I mean, they're not going to go much lower than that and actually do anything worthwhile in a dash, right? Probably closer to 400 hertz. That's probably where I'd have them crossed over, somewhere around there. Which means whatever's in the door has to meet that and also has to really exceed it. And so you have to consider the larger cone, the lower frequency you can play in the dash, the better your overall soundstage is going to be. Unless you've got another driver up there somewhere close that can reinforce that, you've got to do it all with that driver. So the larger cone on a 3.5 might be the better choice. I don't know in this particular scenario. And I'm just running through all kinds of stuff. I could do the 3.5. I could, and that would be its own tweeter. I could put the 2.75 in there and then run that for one series. And in the next phase, pull in the tweeters and add top end to them. But then I'm still not getting any real deep mids up in the dash. You see what I'm saying? So it's all going to pivot, really. Everything that I do on the dash is going to pivot off of what happens in the doors. The doors are going to be the deciding factor. If I can get a lot of good bandwidth out of the doors, then I have more flexibility as to what I can put in the dash to bring it. If the doors are limited on upper bandwidth, I'm going to have to put something that can carry it on in the dash. The doors have a ton of bandwidth, and I'm getting really good saturation across the entire frequency range from the doors. Then I can put whatever I want in the dash and just boost that frequency up a little bit more and bring the life up in the windshield. So it all depends on, it's all going to pivot off the doors. Hitman said, I got a Chevy Cruze with 2 Sundown 10s. I want to put 2 12s in the car. Will the 2 more inches of cone area be worth it? It's not 2 more inches of cone area. It's a whole lot more inches of cone area. And yes, you'll get more low. You'll get lows to play louder with a larger cone or more cone area. Base 3K and and is my amp and 2 batteries set up. All right, cool. I need to grab me a soda. So hang tight just a second. I'm going to give you guys, what are we going to do? Oh yeah, we'll do this. I have a track that I want y'all to check out. Oh, that's a goofy one. Yeah, I'll do this one. And I'm going to be right back, but I'm going to play a track for you while I'm gone.
I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho. Yeah. Bass backbreaker. The Undertaker, subwoofer boom, I'm a whole room shaker. Listen, bleeding through the skin, pour crack floor, trap door, waiting on the crack horse, slack more flax, or you can use a jack or a ratchet strap, or run it down the drain with drain, old back door, pressure on the dashboard, glass warp, base arc, cone flex, chrome text, phone shake, space dark, wave star, phase mark, brake car, plate spark, air move, hair lift, chest hit, blade sharp, brain roll, rain pour, frame twist, lane swerve, low end bend, time spine press, nerve curve, no pause, roll through, tone glue, words blur, same thought, keep spilling till the whole room learn. I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho. Bass hit the wall, it's slamming like an earthquake. Bass crawl, wall fall, panel flex, window break, airlock, earring, mirror blur, lights dim, bending time, nursery rhyme, cradle fall, all the same. Entropy variation, sound wave communication. I forgot the punctuation, gonna need a new dictation. Non-stop destination, lock it down, no variation. Devastation to the nation, bases going on vacation. Pour flare, core press, floor bow, seam split, glass buzz, dash hum, past tense, streams hit. When you sit, we sit, you split, you bounce and wave until bass hits. Tone drag, on snap, bone tap, ribs talk, air shove, chest thump, head nod, lips lock, no end, no rest, no stretch, time walk, bars bleed to the next, till the rhyme don't stop. I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you grab the gun, I guess we're done. No way out, nowhere to run. Fresh spaghetti, red confetti, maybe parts of Auntie Betty. Voices slur, rumor blur, body count is so absurd. Venom drip, record skip, the usher thinks he needs a tip. Temporary fascination, contemplating laceration. Visionary liberation, wiping out the infestation. Past the point of exorcism, keeps on breathing. Heartbeat rhythm, ventilation, fibrillation, medication, insalvation. Body parts and shopping carts, beating hearts arranged like art. It's not good, but it's a start. A happy tree can play a part. My mind is broken, smoking rope and take a token, tell a joke and then you choke on your revoke and tell me I cannot rope. One time sale till it's all gone. Closing soon, can go on home. Order now and get one free, but wait, there's more, just wait, you'll see. Cypher X will hate this song. He'll think that I bang my gong, I came, I saw. That's all, some more. Now the pieces on the floor. I'm a psycho. I'm a psycho.
Yeah, I write crazy shit. So we were talking about the subs. So yeah, the more cone area you have, and a 10 and a 12 are significantly different. The more volume you can put on low frequencies. So yeah, you'll notice a significant difference as long as you build the box to support it. If you just waller out the holes in your current box, you're going to notice it get worse because a box designed for a pair of 10s is not going to support a pair of 12s. You won't have enough airspace that will move in very much. Your lows will suffer tremendously. Your output will go down. Everything will fall in its face. So yeah, it would have to be a new enclosure, but yeah, you'll notice a difference. Quite a lot, actually. Airflow concepts. You want to check out a couple of 10s playing? Yo, you want to check out a couple of 10s playing in my F-150? Sure. If you're local, bring them on over. I'll definitely listen to it. T. Corley in Little Rock. What's up, man? Little Rock, Arkansas. Boy, that brings back so many memories. Not just Little Rock, North Little Rock. I was running with the crazy motherfuckers up there. Hell yeah, man. Y'all don't even know. So you got to understand something about me. Most of you folks is white. I get it, right? I grew up in a black neighborhood in a town called Marianna, Arkansas. Lee County. Like all the cops is black. All my teachers were black. All my friends were black. Everybody was black. It was like 95% black and then 5% white in this whole area. Most of the farmers were even black. Most of the rednecks was black. There's black rednecks. There's a whole lot of them. And when I left that area, I was kind of mind blown because I went straight from there to Branson, Missouri. In Branson, Missouri, there are no black people. And I felt like I was completely out of place. I felt like I was really in the wrong place. I was really concerned. But what's funny is I hang around as an adult many years later. And what the hell am I doing with my thingamajigger? Uh, anyway, and I will be talking and get caught up in the moment, and I'll slip and say nigga, right? And then these people that don't know me that well be like, "What'd you say?" And I'm like, "Damn, I didn't even realize I said it." So yeah, I grew up in a black neighborhood with black people as my friends. Everybody was black. I never even thought anything about them being black because everybody I knew was black. I didn't even think racism wasn't even a part of my freaking the way I was raised or my DNA or nothing. I mean, I didn't even think about racism. It wasn't even something that was in my mind. I didn't really start grasping the whole concept until after I got out of that area and realizing how hateful and mean a lot of people are and how screwed up a lot of people think. So it is what it is, man. But, that's just something I deal with today because people today don't know me. They don't know who I am or where I'm from. They don't know what I'm about. They don't know that I've been in all the places. I've been in places they ain't never going to go. They don't know that. You know, they don't know about me getting slammed down in the street and stepped on by police, getting my head kicked up under the car like I was some kind of ball in the road they was trying to get rid of, getting beat down in the jail, handcuffed and beat down by the damn county sheriff. You know what I'm saying? They don't know about that. They don't know about me going toe to toe with multiple people in the cell and fighting until everybody was bleeding and no cops showed up because they didn't give a damn. They don't know about any of that shit. So they just think I'm some, asshole racist white dude that's privileged. That's not me, man. That's not who I am. But I don't carry that like a badge. I carry that like part of me. That's who I am. That's how I got to be the person I am, was going through all the shit that I went through, made me who I am. And don't feel sorry for me either, because I absolutely deserved every ass whooping I got. I was always in trouble as a kid. I stayed in trouble all the time because it was the only thing fun to do was get in trouble. I was bored out of my mind. But that's part of who I am today. And that's how I got to be the person I am today. And all those scars is what you're looking at. You're looking at the result of all those scars. Now that I can get on my sandbox, I'll get back off. I ain't trying to go, full politics and shit. I just had a mood. I don't even know what I was talking about. Let's see here. Oh, Base Villa. Hell yeah. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me go back up. I'm missing some stuff. Okay. So, Big Lev said, I blew my 5K past summer. Decided to upgrade everything. I got you, boss. Man, I'm having great luck with the Slaps 8K, the Shock 8Ks. This will be my third season on them amps, and I've been beating the shit out of them. I abused the hell out of those amps, and they have just been flawless. I got one in my buddy's car. He beats the brakes off of it too. He ain't had a single bit of problem out of it. They're good amps, man, especially considering the price. I mean, damn. Big Lev said, thoughts on inverting two subs and a subs up port back enclosure in the trunk. So here's the kicker on that stuff. If you've got a tight box, like if you built a box on the small side of the recommended specs, inverting them is going to give you a lot more low end out of the subs. You're going to see a pretty good benefit from inverting. If, however, your box is already on the large size for those subs, you're not going to see as much. You're probably not going to notice much of anything different. You will be able to cool them a little better because you'll be able to get more airflow, like air-conditioned airflow over the coils. But in a trunk, you're not going to see as much of that action. Anyway, it's going to be pretty hot in there regardless. The other thing about inverting subs, going subs up, is room. They get a lot taller when you put the magnet on the outside. And if you lay it down on its side, the box ain't going to sit. It's just going to flip up like that. The subs are going to pull the box up in the air. so it won't ride. If you have to run them down on their side, you're going to have to put a piece of plywood down that's wider than the subs stick out, and then screw the box down to the plywood so that the subs don't flip the box up on its end when they you got to get past the magnet with the plywood so they have a foot to hold them, right? That's one element. That's what I got to say about inverting. Now, port back, subs up, port back. As a rule, the more distance you have between the subwoofer and the port, the better your overall low end response is going to be. So you're going to get more lows. So having the sub on the opposite side of the box from the port is going to give you really good lows, especially if you're firing that port into the corner of your trunk. Your lows are going to get even better. But that's going to require your subs on one side, port on the other. So subs up, port back is going to be less effect. Now, when it comes to SQ, it's the opposite. You can still get the same lows, but what you really want is less group delay, because whenever you have the subs front and then port back, you've got a lot of delay between that port sound and that sub sound. The sub is going to be coming at you, right? And the port's going to be going back here, hitting the corner of the ring, and then coming back. It's got to catch up, and it ain't going to. So you're going to end up getting a muddy sound. You're going to get a lower frequency range, a lot better low end, but you're giving up the tightness of the sub and the port together. So having the sub and the port on the same side as close as possible gives you a more accurate, tight sound. So you don't have as much group delay. What that means is your kick drums, sound like that instead of, like this. They have more impact, right? And they're going to have better response from kicks. And so if you listen to rock and stuff with a lot of kick drum beats and a lot of heavy, quick thumping, you're going to want the port on the same side as the sub. But if you listen to mostly sine wave based stuff, whatever that is, it can be country, it can be hip hop, it can be trap, it can be rap, anything that has lots of long, deep sine waves, then it really doesn't matter as much. But how you configure that, I'm just giving you the information, okay? I'm giving you all the information to decide which one will work best for you, right? That's what I do, is I give information. The only other kicker to that is subs up on your trunk lid. You're going to have to basically completely deaden the hell out of that trunk lid. I mean, deaden the crap out of it, or it's going to be shaking and rattling and making all kinds of obnoxious noises. The quietest trunk is when you fire the subs in toward the car and seal it off from the trunk. The loudest trunk is when you fire the subs up into the trunk lid. When I say the loudest, I mean the most rattles. The least rattles, the most rattles. And Craig said, hell yeah, I woke up in time. What's up, man? Big Lev, 2 3-way component sets made from PRV Pro Audio speakers. Yeah, I think you mentioned in something that you made a pair of those for somebody. Made from PRV Pro Audio speakers, tweeters, 4-inch mid-range, and a 6.5-inch mid-bass. 2 pairs of lower to bass 6.5 components, 1 4-inch coaxial set. Now 13K Burmans will run at 2 ohms. That's a whole lot of killer gear. I've got a homemade setup up there on the shelf in one of my boxes. It's a component. It's a set of 6.5s from a Memphis driver that I really like the sound of. I absolutely could use that. Those drivers sound so good. And a set of tweeters from Audio Dynamics, which are also, before they switched to the beryllium dome, whatever it is they're using now, they were running silk domes, and they're silk domes. And I'm not picky about tweeters. As long as it reproduces the frequency range, I'm usually not so picky. But the original Audio Dynamics Silk Dome 2000 series tweeters were some of the very best sounding tweeters I've ever heard in my life. But I've also got some Slaps tweeters, and they are Silk Dome, and I have not had a chance to give them a play yet. So I'm waiting to see what they're going to sound like. I bet they're going to sound good because Alan is very picky, and he's very picky about stuff. And I know how picky he was about those tweeters when he was getting those things designed. He wanted a very specific signature, and I think they're probably going to produce. So I'm looking forward to hearing when you guys. I'm going to be putting them on an amp with a set of the 8-inch. Actually, I'm going to try them with multiple combinations. I'm going to try them with several different little woofers to see how they work. But the main one I want to test is how they will sound with a set of the Slaps Pro 8-inch drivers that I've got coming, because I think that's what I'm going to put in the front doors of this car. That's going to be the hardest thing to put in the doors, the absolute hardest speaker to put in. But I think it also stands to be the very best speaker if I can make it work. I've just got to be able to fit the entire speaker in between the inside door card and the window mechanism. Somewhere in there, I have to get that thing in there. And it's a big, like 8-pound freaking driver. So yeah, it's a big old, huge booty on that thing. And I just don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm all about creating monster Frankenstein components. As long as you're covering the frequency range, I don't care what name is on them. You know, it's all about covering the range that you need to cover. Once you do that and you get everything positioned right, you're going to get, great sound. Base Villa said, could watch you make those tracks all day, bro. How about a marathon? Start with 6 hours one day. Well, I'm going to tell you, man, it ain't nothing for me to sit down here and do 5 or 6 hours on one track. That's nothing. That's a short one. That's not counting the writing. Because I'll be like doing something, just sort of walking around the house, and all of a sudden, one little word or one little phrase will pop into my head, and that turns into a song. I just come in here and sit down, and I go at it, and like all the lyrics that you guys are hearing in these tracks, that's all handwritten by me. I write all of that shit. I'm pretty good at stacking very intricately woven syllables, phrasing, and it's not a normal rap style. It's more of a machine gun style. I think like that. Pixelated, dilated, momentary, da 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 da. That's the kind of stuff that I think about when I'm rapping. That's how I write. So yeah, I get crazy. But yeah, we'll consider it. I thought about it. What's up, Digging Low? Nice to see you here tonight, man. Big Lev said 3 or 4 channels and a single resilient sound, Team 15. Get down, bro. I shouldn't tell you about this, but for those of you here with me tonight, I'm gonna tell you all a secret that's coming. You see this up here? This is the Slaps Mini 160.4. In my opinion, one of the best 4 channels that you can buy. And I mean that because if you factor in how much does it cost, if you say how good does it do, how loud does it get, how clean is it, how much features does it have, all those things, and then you also say how much does it cost. If you use that as a metric, there ain't nothing out there that beats that amplifier. It's just not. And they're tough, dude. I'm playing subs off this thing. I have played two subs off that one little tiny amp, and that thing it's this big, right? My hand covers the whole damn amplifier. And that's what I write on. That's what I'm listening to music on right now. That's powering my computer speaker setup, which is a 12-inch Audio Dynamic 2000 series sub and 2 Hayanka Marine 6.5-inch coaxials and boxes. That's what I use for my studio, and it sounds amazing. If you guys are ever able to come in here and listen, you'd be blown away by how good that sounds. Well, here's the thing. Slaps is coming out with a 5-channel version of that little tiny amplifier with a 500-watt subwoofer mono channel output. And I'm going to get one as soon as they arrive. So, yeah, real deal. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Holy crap. It's taco time.
Hey, guess what? Taco loves tacos, yeah, that's his scene. Crunching all day like a taco machine. Hard shell, soft shell, spicy, supreme. Always eating tacos, favorite cuisine. Taco! 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 Crunchy! Crunchy! With taco machine! Touch!
Oh, Craig, you probably already busted, man. Thanks for the tacos, man. You're very much appreciated, brother. Very much appreciated. Let's see here. Airflow Concept says it's a fun little low and loud setup. Hell yeah, dude. What is that? Oh, and Big Lev still talking about it. He said, and a custom 6 cubic foot ported enclosure tuned to 32 hertz. 32. You know, at 32 is a perfectly normal level of tuning. And there was a time when that was what I always tuned to. But the thing about bass is, the longer I listen, the lower I go. And the more lows you gotta go to get low. You know what I'm saying? So anymore, man, I hardly ever tune anything above like 28 hertz. But that's just my preference. And honestly, 32 is right smack in the middle of where most stuff is. So it's perfectly sane tune. The Tahoe is tuned at 24 right now. And I play shit like that. I play 24 hertz. I play, 26 hertz. I play 18 hertz. I play, but if I was advising anybody that I build a box for, if they don't know what they want to do, I always go for around 31 to 32 hertz, somewhere in that range, because it's going to suit most people. It's a little bit high for me, but it'll suit most people. Big Lab running all the wires, putting it together, and back tomorrow. My friend, that's the part I'm gonna tell you, man. The build is that's where all the energy is, man. It's not about, to me, it's more about building the damn thing than listening to it. Oh, that's good. I get more out of designing and constructing and fine tuning it than I do out of the enjoyment of listening to it later. Both are good. Don't get me wrong, but I get more out of the build. What's going on with me though these days is getting harder for me to convince myself to go do the thing. I know it. I got it. It's all in my head. Might have it all wrote down. Got the parts. Everything's sitting on the shelf. And I'm trying to get myself started. Because I don't have that much energy. So, but I miss it. I miss being able to crawl in the car, crawl up under the cars, and just go at it like a freaking monster. Because that's how I used to be. And now I look under the ground under that car, and I'm like, man, I don't need to do this. After a while, I finally talked myself into going down there, but I'll have everything ready because I do not want to have to get back up and then get back down again. One get up's about all I got in me, and I got to take a break. You know what I'm saying? If I get up off the ground one time, that wore me out. I'm going to sit down and take me a half an hour break before I can do anything else. It's sketch, man. It really is. But yeah, man, I love it. I love building amp racks too. Can't wait to get everything installed and turned and tuned so I can beat the block down. Hell yeah, bro. All will be in my 2008 Yukon XL. So I'm guessing you're doing uh, three-way components in the front and the back doors. If I had gathering all the information that you gave me earlier, that's a whole lot you got going in there. Um, that's like 13 channels if you're doing it all active. Um, I would suggest um, using 9-wire if you still have your existing factory wiring. I'm not even sure if that's going to help you because you're putting so many channels and shit. What you might do though is run 9-wire out of each door because that gives you 4 sets of drivers. So one 9-wire has got 9 wires in it. So you'd have 4 sets, and running a single piece of 9-wire out of each door, and that would make that wiring a whole lot cleaner than running 4 sets of speaker wires out of each door. You'd have 1 wire left over, but who cares? That might be a good idea if you're loading up 4 doors with components with 3 ways in each one. 9-wire is going to probably be your friend. And then you could run the 9-wire into the boot, through the boot, and then run 4 9-wires back to where your amplifier is going to be. And then you just have 4 cables with all the wires coming out of them. A lot easier to keep that neat and looking good. About the only advice I can throw at you, besides you've obviously already been planning your ass off and stacking parts. So, have I thought about putting a sub under the center console in my car? I absolutely have. And that may be something that happens, but if it does, it's going to be a small sub. It's going to need to be something, I mean, super small, no bigger than a 10. If it's a 10, it's going to be in a tiny box. Probably a 6 or an 8-inch sub is what it would fit in there. And then that is going to be tricky because of what's in that console. Because I got a shifter in the console. Okay, unlike the Tahoe where my shifter's up here and I just have cubbies and stuff, I actually have the shifter in there. So that means I only have the part under my armrest, right? And then I want to keep some of that internal volume. So that means I got something the size of like a shoebox under there at best, which means a very small sub. So if I do, it would only be for front mid bass. And here's the catch. The doors in this car produce a lot of mid bass. Right now, they are literally the subwoofer in the car. So I don't think I'm going to need one, but I've already considered that. It's one of the first things I was thinking about. T. Corley said it sucks right now. All my building is put on hold. They're selling the property I rent, so I have to spend money on moving. Yeah, that bites, brother. We were talking about buying a house, and we run into issues trying to buy a house. We haven't. The credit's good, but it's not great. And we're kind of stuck in this limbo where we're waiting on our scores to go up a little bit. And I'm really antsy about not living in this place anymore because it's a duplex, and there's a whole bunch of reasons, but I'm so over this duplex, right? That to the point to where now I'm like, maybe we could just rent something else. I mean, just find something that's got a shop in it that I have room to work in. That's what I want. I want an outside space that's closed in, or I can go out there and do YouTube stuff, have more light at nighttime, have more available videoing time. Whenever I'm feeling it, I'll have a place to go do it instead of having to feel it whenever the light is out and the weather's okay. Less variables is good, you know. Anymore, I'm not even sure if I have the energy to do anything, whether it's heated and cooled or not. But so that brings up the other subject. So here's the thing. And I told you guys I was going to talk about it Friday. So I'm going to talk about it. So I went, um, let me go back a step further. So here a little while back, I went in for a checkup. They run a scan for my prostate to see what my prostate cancer situation looked like. And it looked clear. But my number, whatever that number is, I forget what it's called, but you guys know what the number is. The number um, was up a tiny bit. And I mean a tiny bit. They were expecting it to be down a tiny bit more, but it was actually up a tiny bit. But that's not important. We got that figured out. While they were looking at my prostate with this dye, this special dye that's supposed to light up your prostate, it lights up cancer in your prostate. That's what it does. They were looking at my prostate. The dye also hits other organs because it goes in, your whole circulatory system, and it will light up some organs really bright, like your liver or whatever. It lights it up like a light bulb because it's literally collecting this stuff. Well, they saw something in one of my lungs on this scan for my prostate. And it was not very big and it was a tiny little blip, but the radiologist that performed the scan uh, noticed it and he reported on it and noted it. So they took me in to do another scan, a scan specifically for my lung. And it turns out it is cancer in my lung. So you guys know I still smoke, and that's just a thing. That's nothing important anymore, really. Anyway, I went and seen the doctor Wednesday to talk about that, and he said that it could be basically one of two things. He said it's definitely cancer, but it could be a single spot, and in that case, they can use targeted radiation like they did with my prostate, and just basically shoot radiation at it and probably kill it within a week. 5 or 6 treatments and done. But he said if it's in the lymph nodes and other areas, that's a different thing. That's going to require chemotherapy, targeted radiation, and probably some more stuff. And it may be 6 or 8 weeks worth of stuff before they can feel like they've even got to where they need to get. I won't know which way that's going to go until a couple weeks from now. So, and when I find out, I'll let you guys know. You'll know. Okay. And that's the end of that. Hopefully, I satisfied your guys' concerns and curiosity on the matter. Let's see. Shadowface said, I'm glad you directed me to do songs as well. I have so much fun with it. Yeah, it's a great outlet, man. It's a great outlet for sure. Team Savage Sounds, yes, absolutely are sponsoring the after party. Yeah, you see my shirt, right? Yeah. You can't really see the back. The back. Hang on a second. I'll give you guys the back shot. Now don't check out my butt. I know there ain't no freaks in there. Oh, shit. There you go. You can barely see it because I can't get turned around in the space I got right here. But yeah, I got my Team Savage Sounds shirt on right now. Good. Look at my. Oh, screw that. We ain't trying to do all that. But yes, we are. We're gonna be bringing it, y'all. If you ain't, if you guys hit the Midwest Finals this year, I'll be there. So I'm gonna be there this year. If you guys want to meet me and check out, hang out, whatever the hell I'm driving, I don't know if I'll be. I mean, I'll be there. I probably will have the Tahoe there too, because that's the thing that would be appropriate for that event. So yeah. Rippin says I'm all about 20 hertz FS. I like lows, man. I used to build my boxes to peak for the high 40s to the low 50s in my Explorer. Yeah, you can build that way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with hitting hard and high. Uh, and I can hit you a lot harder in the Tahoe, uh, in the high 30s. Even in the low 40s, I can ring your bell hard. Um, but I just enjoy that. I enjoy that cab shaking low, man. But yeah, I can hit a whole lot harder if I play higher. The process is always better than the result. Yeah, 100%, man. Um, like as soon as I get done with one build, I'm like, okay, now what do I do? I got nothing to do. What do I do now? A big lev. Yep. Three-way in the front, along with a pair of Lord's base components in the rear, and three-way in the rear. Got custom A pillars with kick panels up front. Yeah, I'm running the 9-wire. Yeah. 9-wire is your friend, man. Guys, if you're running a whole lot of speakers anywhere, 9-wire is absolutely the way to go. It's going to save you so much mess. Uh, oh, he's doing it right. He said also dual alts with a 400 amp make man for the stereo and 150 amp hour lithium bank. With the amp that you're running and the sub that you're running, you'll be solid on 150 amp hours. Sounds good. Bobby B said, "What's up from Disneyland? What's up, Bobby? Nice to see you managed to slide in. That man lives at. You must have one of them lifetime passes at Disneyland. You like clock in and clock out every day out there. It's like Bobby like shaking their hands as they walk in the door. He like, oh, that's Bobby. He's here to. He's greeting us as we come in the door, man. Bobby lives at Disneyland. He just goes home to sleep. That's cool, bro. I mean, I'd do it. I'd do it too. If I live somewhere close like that and I could just go pop in all the time, I'd probably be out there screwing around too. I get it. Hell yeah, man. 383 LS to replace the 5.3. Man, that's a nice motor. I had a 383 stroker roller uh, engine for a Monte Carlo. I had a 70, I think it was a 76 Monte Carlo Super Sport clone. Uh, had all of the rest of the stuff on it, but the front end was normal Monte Carlo. I didn't really care for the Monte Carlo Super Sport front end with that the thing that comes. I didn't really like that. I didn't really like the way it looked. That rake kind of thing. So I kept the front end, but it was all black with pinstripe red. Uh, had what was it? Thrush had thrush mufflers, 3.5 inch exhaust all the way back. Stroker, 3 stroker roller motor, high rise Edelbrock, Bordix 202 heads. Had a big healthy cam in it. Uh, it had timing gears instead of chains. It was a nice motor. It was a nice car. It was sick, dude. Loud as shit. When you put it in gear, it would bark the tires trying to idle. Like, guys, this is crazy, but you'd be sitting there idling with it in gear, and the tire would go boop, 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 as it cammed, idling. So yeah, I know all about it. That's a hell of a motor you got. This one was a stroker. Let's see here. That's a sick vehicle. I'd love to rent a place with a shop or even a garage, an apartment overhead. Yeah, dude, all I need is a shop. I could just live in there. Just put a bed in there, somewhere to go to the bathroom, a microwave, and a little apartment refrigerator. That's all I need, dude. Just give me a shop with a little hotel cubby off to the side. I'm juicy, man. I don't need any of that all them other rooms and all that fancy stuff. No, man, just give me a drill press, bench vise, grinders, all that kind of stuff. I'm all about it. I live right there. I move in next door to you, man. Digging Low said hemoglobin. It wasn't hemoglobin. That wasn't the number. But anyway, that's a good guess. For once I look at it, I thought homogoblin. What the hell's a homogoblin? Then I realized it was hemoglobin. I don't know, man. Uh, T. Corley said, my fiance has congestive heart failure. She is still smoking a lot, but she doesn't go get a checkup like she really should do. Yeah, I got congestive heart failure too. That's probably the thing that hurts me more than anything, honestly. Cancer is the more serious problem, but it doesn't really affect my day-to-day life as much as my heart failure does. So, yeah. Image Dynamic ID8 has great specs for a front sub. It'll work in a 0.3 cubic foot sealed, and it's $99. That's a good price on something that can actually get down in a tiny box. 50 hertz to 125. Yeah, for real, for real. I 100% agree with that idea. I have a small JL10 in an absolutely microscopic box in my Tahoe up in the front, but I needed that mid bass up the front. I don't have any, I needed it when I put it in there. I don't need it now so much. Those tens and the doors take care of that. But back when I first put it in there, I needed that mid bass. And this car, those doors have got so much mid bass, and they're going to have more mid bass. I don't think I'm going to need one. It's going to be all the thunder you want in the front of that car. Base Villa said, thought about use about to twerk. Look, if you're gonna be twerking, don't be thinking about me. I love you guys. Y'all are so good. Dakota said, I hope I can make Midwest SPLs this year. Just to hang out and watch the show. Yeah, man, it's gonna be cool. Hoping EXO shows up too. I hadn't seen him in a minute. He might. I used to build boxes peaking to 40, 50. Higher burps. Yeah, if you're going to burp, man, it's always easier to burp at higher frequencies. It's way easier to make loud bass at high frequencies than it is at low frequencies, which is why there's a limit that your frequency range must be below 80 hertz to compete, because it would be easier to get stupid loud at much higher frequencies. But it becomes not bass anymore. And that's kind of defeats the whole purpose. So they limit everybody to 80 hertz and below. It's either 80 or 70. I think it's 80. Which makes sense. That's where most subwoofers live anyway, 80 hertz and below. So, T. Corley said, in your opinion, what's the best way to spot a wire? Okay, hold on. To spot to wire the voltmeter on a bass knob. Okay, this is messed up. We're going to have to figure this one out. Also, right now, I have no extra battery in my daily at the moment. Okay. Best wire to... What's the best way to wire the voltmeter on a bass knob? I haven't ever wired a voltmeter to the bass knob. Anything you do on a bass knob is going to be low voltage. And so anything that you add to that may generate noise, especially a meter, because that can bring in that could definitely give you a hum. So I'm not really sure if I'm getting what you're asking there. That confused me a little bit. I've always wanted a gear drive instead of time and chain. Yeah, it's loud, man. It stays in time. It doesn't stretch and lose time, but it's loud. It's quite loud. Those gears are loud, man. But yeah, uh, think my girl would like it much. uh, yeah, no doubt, dude. When I was doing construction years ago, we built a house inside. There's this guy that owned this really rich dude. He owned like 5 big, huge fish farms, and he had he had a couple of his workers that wanted a house, and he built them a house inside this big, humongous shop. And when I say shop, guys, all right, I mean this thing here was half the size of a Walmart parking lot. It was big, real big. You could pull several big trucks in it end to end inside one door before they went out the other side. And they were just lined up. Tractor trailer trucks and everything inside on the sideways part of the shop. This ain't the long part. This is the sideways part. This thing was huge. But we took and built the walls and the ceiling of houses. They had no roof. They had no exterior wall other than some plywood. And on the outside, it looked like a storeroom, like you were walking up to a storage room with junk sitting all around it and everything. It was all you saw was a bunch of junk and a door. You open the door up and it was a beautiful home inside there. We built 2 of those inside that shop. So I always thought that was really neat. Didn't require a roof. I mean, the whole damn building was the roof. 300 build. I'm excited about it too, and I can't wait to get started on it. Right now, I'm waiting on stupid head unit to get in. It's been in the U.S. since the 3rd. It should be here anytime, but it also says it would arrive between the 12th and the 25th. I think it's going to arrive quite a bit before that because it literally hit the U.S. on the 3rd, which means, and it was supposed to be on a carrier on the 3rd, not just hit, but it was actually through customs and everything. And on a carrier on the 3rd, which means it should have been traveling. And anywhere in the United States, you can get to Missouri in 3 days. I don't care how you're doing it, how bad shit's screwed up. You can get from anywhere in the U.S. to Missouri inside of 3 days under any circumstances. Hell, you could almost walk here that fast. So it's what the freaking what is it? I can't see shit. It's the 6th, so it's been 3 days. And some bitches need to be here. Looking forward to it. Anyway, you guys have any more questions for me tonight? Oh no, hell no, man. My head unit's going to be able to speak English. Ice. God, they couldn't have picked a more perfect name for that group of people. It sounds so sinister. And, they could always roll up playing Vanilla Ice, 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 baby. All right, stop. I can just see it, dude. That would be great. Somebody needs to make a video with a bunch of ice agents doing the Vanilla Ice dance. A parody video would be great. I have the ideas. I just don't have the skills. Deacon Lowe said, they sent your radio back to its country. Hell yeah, man. I can just see them holding my radio at gunpoint, telling it to get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground. I said, get on the ground. Poor radio. Y'all want to see what I'm getting? I'll show you. Hang on a second. I'll actually show you what's coming. Little bit of pre car audioization. I don't even know what freaking thing I've lost my thing. Hang on a sec here. Video screen. No, I don't care about your stupid freaking warnings. Oh my God, Becky. All right, there we go. I can handle it. It's like, warning, can you handle it? I can handle it. This guy right here is what I'm waiting for. So y'all check it out. This is what I'm putting in here. This actually, the price went up after I bought mine. It was like $350 something when I bought mine. Now it's at $371. But this is the unit. I think it's going to look really nice. They don't show it installed here. They kind of, the closest you get is that picture right there. Now they have several. They have one. This one here has a smaller screen. Then they have three that are this size. The only difference is the amount of RAM and storage that they have. Other than that, these three are the same. This one is a smaller one. But this screen is 11.8 inches diagonally. That's a good size screen. And it has all the stuff. So it comes with its own CAN bus. It comes with, I'll show you down here. So you get your CAN bus. It's already pre-programmed and pre-mapped. So it's going to, the steering wheel controls, all that stuff is just going to work. All the stuff is going to work. I have got to run this reverse camera. It's going to come with that. Come with your mic. I love the fact that they call these crowbars. I think that's freaking hilarious. I make so many jokes about that. It's got its own GPS antenna. There's a camera input. Got two USB cables, one for charging, one for connection to a device like a USB drive. Brilliant. I'm going to route both of those into the glove box. I probably won't use the charging one at all. Honestly, I've got I might. Power cable, antenna. This is the antenna cable right here. There's your plug. Very, very simple setup. You literally switch out this for this. All the stuff moves over. So your vents, your clock, your heat and air controls, all of that stuff is attached to this piece, right? So you pull the radio, you pull all that stuff off of this, mount it onto this one, and like so, right? You pull the heat vents up here, the clock, all that stuff, the buttons all mount to this, the heat and air controls mount to this, and then this piece goes back in the dash with this already attached to it. It's very smooth and very cool way of doing things. I love using these made for vehicle Android units. I've had great luck with them in the past. Does it have an optical output? I wanted to say that it might, but I don't think so. And let me go down here and look. But you guys are welcome. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll grab a link here and I'll put it in the chat. Put it in chat. And then you guys can look at it yourself. And obviously you don't want to pick this one up because this one fits a Thrasher 300 unless you happen to have a Crosser 300. But you can check it out and see what you see. It does have a 2K resolution, which is nice. Nice, bright, clear screen, high fidelity screen. Supports all the calling, contact syncing, Bluetooth music, Android Auto, and the iPad stuff, the Apple Crapple. I don't remember if it does or not. But here's the thing. I don't have an amp or a DSP. Well, actually, I do have a DSP that can accept optical, but it definitely doesn't fall into the budget category. I've got two DSPs that can accept optical, but neither of those fit in the category of this build is supposed to be, so I can't really use them. Maybe in the final form, but not in any of the forms for this video, for the video series. I've got crazy speakers and amplifiers and cray SQ stuff that I could drop in this build. I mean, like, if money is not a thing, I mean, I just got stuff sitting on the shelf over there that cooks, right? Yeah. And I got access to whatever the hell I want, but that doesn't fit the build. So maybe in its final form, you'll see some of my crazy high end shit. Uh, but yeah, not right now. Um, well, let's see here. 2 cameras. Let me look and see what Corley says. So yeah, I'm not sure about the optical. I don't think it does. I'm looking forward to playing with this thing now. It's got a big ass screen and it does phone mirroring, which is more important to me. Have a down for sound bass knob with a built-in voltmeter. Just trying. Oh, that okay. To wire the voltmeter part, just wire it up to your turn-on wire for your amp. That's all you do. When you go back to your amplifier to pull, to connect your RCAs, the same time you're back there, just drop that little wire onto your amp turn-on wire. That'll give you the voltage. That'll give you the voltage of the turn-on wire. It's not nowhere you're going to pull voltage or you're going to get really excellent voltage, because the length of wire is going to dictate what you're seeing. You're going to lose some power in the wire, in other words, but it'll give you something to reference, to know when it goes up or down, that kind of thing. And you can also figure it out what it's supposed to read versus what it actually reads. And then you'll have a measurement stick that you can accurately use. Even if it doesn't give you the right measurement, it gives you a measurement that you can get the right measurement from. I need. What happened? What? Stop doing that crazy stuff, screen. I need to get 2 cameras for my head unit. Why? I don't know. Just because. They're not expensive, man. Most of the time, you can get these little guys like this right here. For next to nothing. They're just stupid cheap. They come with this style of cord with the RCA deal. You just got to make sure that you've got inputs on your radio for those 2 cameras, and then you got to figure out how to activate them, because the radio, the radio will have one. You may need to use your CAN bus to pull your reverse signal, or pull one off of your backup, your reverse light, or whatever. You got to figure out how to trigger them, but they're not hard to hook up, and they're not expensive either. More of a pain in the butt to run that wire than anything else. I got something you can school me on. All right, see what you got. I've always been of the mind that when you went a little over RMS with a sub, I'm being told I can run a P3D410 on my. Oh my God, I hate it when you guys expect me to know what the hell specific equipment you're talking about by the model number. A Rockford, I'm guessing that's a Rockford dual 4 10-inch on my 2750 by 5 amp. I have no idea what the power rating is on that amp. And I'm not being mean. I just don't know. You have it all memorized because, you get the thing in there. You talk about it all the time. I don't know the model number for that thing. I'm guessing it's a Rockford amp and a Rockford sub. And I'm guessing it's a 5-channel amp with a 5th channel subwoofer output. But I have no idea. I will say this, though. Let's say, okay, the way I generally, so there's 2, and I know I'm having a hard time answering your question because it's not a simple answer. If I am advising somebody who is new to the game, somebody who is not going to do intelligent things, I know that their fingers are going to be stupid. They want something that's going to probably not die whenever they do stupid. Okay. I usually advise them to go with an amp that's rated about the RMS rating of the sub. I know that sub is never going to see more than about half power because that's how that works. And that's perfect for stupid. All right. Even if you're clipping it all to hell, there's a real good chance the sub is going to survive running that much power. However, once your impedance rises, you're going to be looking at like 3 ohms or 3.5 ohms of rise. And the reality is that while your amp, you're like for my 8Ks, for example, my 8K, well, I was running a single 8K, I was getting around a 3.2, 3.3 ohms of impedance at rise. And during that time, my amp was still producing a little over 5,000 watts, which is really solid numbers considering the ohm load it was seeing. But assuming average, your amp's going to be about half of its power at a 4 ohm. At a 4 ohm load, you're going to be looking at probably half or less of your power. And so whenever your impedance is rising, you're going to be at power. In other words, if you've got a 5,000 watt amp on a 2,500 watt sub, after impedance rise, you're going to have about 2,500 watts on a 2,500 watt sub. That said, there are going to be times when you're not at impedance rise where you're going to have a 5,000 watt amp on a 2,500 watt sub. So having some sense and some experience to guide your bass knob hand, if you have that and you have the ability to back off when you know you're doing too much, running double power is about what I generally do. I find that it works good for me, if your subs can take it. Having said that, I know the P3 is a solid sub. It can't take that though. It doesn't have the cooling. It just doesn't have the mechanical cooling built into it to handle that kind of power. I would not push those subs past their RMS. That's what I'm saying. If that's a Rockford P3 that you've got that you're talking about, I would not go that route. I would keep it closer to its accurate range. That's my opinion. All right. And T. Corley said, I kind of want to get an iPad just to basically make it my head unit. Did that for like 5 years. Works great. It really does. I'll tell you the places where it falls short and the places where it excels. Okay. Having been someone who has done that for an extremely long period of time, I think I'm qualified to make this statement. Charging. You really want to keep it plugged in all the time. And you want to plug it into a source that doesn't turn off with your key. Meaning that if you're going to leave your vehicle parked for more than a few days at a time without driving it, you might want to go out there and start it, because it's going to be pulling, 1 or 2 amps constantly. Basically, it's like a 2 amp constant drain on the battery, which is fine for a day or two, even a weekend. But you're going to run into issues if you try to run it, sit it and park it for a week while you're out doing whatever and come back in. You'll probably find a dead battery at that point. That's one thing. So can you have it where it charges when the vehicle's on? Yes. And that works too, to a point. So if you go into it and unlock it, you got to jailbreak it, okay, and go in there and set it up to where it goes to sleep when it doesn't see power, right? So whenever your charger turns off because your key's off, it'll just go, oh, there's no power, and go to sleep. It'll still be on, but it'll be in very, very low power mode. Then it will charge when it's on. Now, here's the kicker: it won't quite charge enough unless you're driving it every day. If you're driving it every day, it will charge enough. If you're driving 10 minutes to work and then 10 minutes home and it spends most of the time sitting, it's not going to charge enough to maintain it. And over time, it's going to slowly lose battery. And every once in a while, you're going to plug it into a hard charge and let it build back up. That's the biggest problem with the system. uh, the only other real issue, there's not really any more issues. That's really the only one. That's really the only thing I ever ran into was that. And ultimately I left mine on charge all the time. Just left it just constantly charging, and I kept an eye on shit, because my vehicle sits most of the time. So I had to go whenever it's whenever I come home, I plug it in. I just plug it in because it might not move again for a month or 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So I plug it in and it charges. But that's the only thing. And then you need to download. You got to jailbreak it and fix that. You want to download an app that makes it always, it's called auto rotate or something like that. And basically, it makes it so that your apps all try to open in horizontal. But you can work around that stuff. None of that's got to happen. Let's see here. SQ. What do you got? I want some good SQ stuff. You want to see some SQ stuff? Do I have anything? I know I said I had stuff over there, but what's easy for me to get to? Not really a whole lot. I've got multiple amplifiers, some high end, and digging it out and bringing it over here is kind of a pain. But I've got some Diamond Audio amps, Hex Series, Diamond Audio Hex Series 4-channel. I've got an Audio Dynamics 4-channel, one of their high-end amps. It's a 600 by 4. I've got another Audio Dynamics 6-channel amp that's like a $1,800 amplifier. I've got Audio Dynamics 6.4 Auto Tune DSP over there, and I've got the 6.8 Auto Tune Hi-Fi DSP from Audio Dynamics in the Tahoe right now, which is it was like $1,000 DSP with another $400 and something control unit on it. I mean, it's some expensive ass shit. I got AD drivers and AD tweeters, AD woofers. I could build a whole AD system out of here. And I've got some mid-level stuff too. I got a lot of shit, man. I really do. And I have access to a whole lot more. The P2D410 is off gassing a bit when I crank it home. I crank it some. I'm sorry, my bad. And it's old enough to be broke in. So the P2D4 is rated RMS at 300, 600. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you're that. I'm telling you, those. It's a P2. You said a P3 earlier. Rockford doesn't make a sub that can take abuse. Let's just put it that way. JL really doesn't either. Although they have, it'd be a toss-up. All of their shit's designed for like 500 watts and down, and that's where it's happy. And it does a great job at that. But you don't want to put crazy power on it, or it's just literally going to be an instant paperweight. I mean, I'm just telling you from facts. I've run a lot of this stuff. It's just not the same level of shit. Not even in the same category. I guarantee you one of these slap subs would take wall current for half an hour. You plug it into a Rockford, one of those Rockford P3s or P2s into wall current, it would go pop, and that would be the end of that. This is a completely different playing field. If you broke it down and looked inside, you would be like, oh, I see. I see what you're talking about. It's just a completely different organism. But no, don't do that. You'll cook your subs, man. I got a kicker 750.1 on three P3 or on three P312s. Yes, 100%. That's solid. 250 watts a piece, and that's at max power. You're probably putting like 100, 150 watts at most on those powers on the continual, and they will get down. Absolutely. Don't overpower your subs. You don't want to put, an 18-cylinder bus engine in a Honda Civic. It just doesn't make any damn sense. You're going to get the same speed out of the Honda Civic if you put the right engine in it and go zoom. It's going to match up. You don't mismatch crap. That's just a recipe for disaster. Those speakers, those woofers are a lot more efficient. They're a lot lighter. They're a lot more responsive. They're going to sound better. They're going to play at much, much lower power levels and still have a lot of output. They're designed for a specific amount of power to make that engine work. When you put more power on it than it's supposed to have, you're going to break the motor. That's all there is to it. Some dash kits for a few vehicles. You can mount and remove the iPad. Oh, yeah. You can totally build one yourself. And I'll tell you the secret to making one quickly and easily. Buy a pad that has a hard case. Okay? Let me say that one more time. Buy a iPad or a tablet that has a hard shell case that comes with it. Then you just modify the case to attach it to the dash, snap it in, pull it out. Piece of cake. That's the secret. And a real easy way to get one of those is to buy one of those cheap kids tablets. A little tablet that's got that real hard, thick case on it that's durable for kids to be able to not break. That's perfect for a car audio setup. I believe you said you're doing SQ in the 300s. So are you thinking component set, or are you going to roll with super tweeters or something? I do not know. I've got all the stuff. I've got equipment, and I can go so many different directions. What I'm going to try first is I'm going to build the foundation. I'm going to start with the doors. Whatever I can get in the doors is going to dictate what I do the rest of the car. Because and that's just the way that's what I've decided. Because there's so many different options I can take. And I think the right way to do this is to start with what I want to put in the door. And if that don't work, I'm going to go to the next thing that I want to put in the door. And if that don't work, I'll go to the next thing that goes in the door. When I finally find something that goes in the door, then I'll know what I need to do up in the dash to continue the bandwidth coverage. That's how I'm playing this at this moment. So I'm not sure. Cowboy Gilbert, what's up, man? What are your favorite brands? I'm looking for subs, mostly mid-bass, mid-range, and tweeters for now. Weird to hear, but I'm starting low. Low. How low can you go? Low budget or low frequency? Okay, but you want to know my favorite brands right now, depending on what exactly you're doing. And you said you're looking for subs, mostly mid-bass, mid-range, and tweeters. Okay. My favorite band? Well, that's easy. Because I base my choices off of all the metrics, including cost. What would be the thing I would throw at you? Well, let's go over here. For subs, for the most part, I can absolutely recommend these guys. Slaps Audio, if you're trying to not spend a ton of money, you can go with the V212s or the V215s for $294 for these things. Now, here's the kicker. Okay, these are 2,000 watt subs. They are absolutely nasty. I am doing stupid things in the Tahoe on a regular basis to these subs. They simply do not care about stupid, so that's a plus. They handle a solid 2,000 watts RMS. I'm actually putting 4,000 watts RMS on them. They have a 4-inch, 4-layer black coated voice cool. They are extremely good subwoofers and mids and highs. Let's go over there. The tweeter selection is limited in Slaps, but I'm running 2 of these in my Tahoe right now, 1 in each door, and they absolutely handle high-end duty very well. They're not ear piercing. I cross them over at 5,000 hertz. That's what I recommend. They sound great at 5,000 hertz. And the little Slap 6.5s, I've got 4 of these in my storage. They are excellent little speakers, but the ones I have in my Tahoe right now are these guys. And this is what's in my doors. Now, just to give you an idea, this is a 10-inch driver. This magnet right here, if you put a 6.5 inch, if you set a 6.5 inch speaker on the back of this magnet, it leaves like an inch and something hanging all the way around it. It looks like it's tiny on the back. The magnet makes that 6.5 look like a tweeter. It's absolutely huge. That magnet's like 8.5 inches across or something like that. It's huge. And it weighs, I think this thing weighs like 12 pounds. I mean, I just can't express how big and how crazy this is. There's all the numbers are here. All the TS parameters are here. Everything is here. Yeah, it's got 190 ferrite ring. 75 hertz to 4.5K. You know, it's a beast. This is a beast of a speaker, and I love these things. So that's my selection for speakers. And if you want amplifiers, again, how are you going to beat an 8,000 watt, true 8,000 watt, ridiculously solid amplifier for $369? Something that can take tons and tons of abuse and keep giving you day after day after day of wonderful music. Same thing with this little guy right here, this little Slaps 160.4 Mini. Brilliant amplifiers. All of their stuff is. And the price is right on everything. So that answers your question, I hope. So there's that. Let's see here. And if you use discount code CAE, you save more money on top of the already low price of anything at Slaps Audio or B2 Audio or Big Jeff. Discount code CAE saves you money on all 3 of those places. Don't forget that code. Trust me. I use it. I use my own discount code. Oh, yeah. I roll hard, guys. I roll hard as hell. Let's see here. Let me find out where I was. Yeah, he's asking about the speakers. Where's it at? It's right in there. Reading the question. Okay, I'm not to that point yet. Let's back up. All right, yeah. Okay, so I am to that point. Now we are there. Shadowphage said, you didn't finish reading the question. Okay. Sorry, dude. Look, brain, old man, dumb. Rockford is not competition estimate. No, and I expect it to be. Absolutely. The last part of the question is about the P3. I got you. But Yeah. Okay. If you're looking for boom boom, I mean, if you want boom boom, uh, jumping from the P3 to even the Oblivion line at Slaps is night and day. They're not even. They're so different. So different. Like twice the excursion and many times the power handling. It's a completely different monster. But you're going to get smoother, a smoother bass, a smoother tonal shelf with a better roll off, better transients, um, more accurate bass out of those Rockfords than you will any SPL style subwoofer. You're going to get a whole lot quicker and tighter response to everything. It's just going to be a more accurate driver. But if you want it to be, if you want the thunder, you're going to give up some accuracy and some speed for ginormous power and rumble. That said, you can still get a good tight sound with big heavy built subs. You just need more power to do it. And that's where the creep comes in. Bigger subs, more power. More power, bigger subs. And it keeps going. To get those big heavy subs, inefficient subs to be accurate and respond quickly and snappy, you got to put a lot of power on them. If you're putting big amps on them, you got to put big batteries and alternators on those big amps. It just keeps going. Never ends. So, yeah, I'm just trying to give you the knowledge. You can decide how you want to use it. Now, low in price, my price range can go up to 800. I'm not looking for subs. Okay, so you're looking at mid bass. Well, I showed you some hot mid bass as well as subs. And some good tweeters. But if you want to, I mean, the price, you can't beat the price on it. Dude, just go to Slaps and look at what's there. Um, they're crazy, man. The prices are insane. You know, you compare any of that stuff to anything that compares to it pound for pound, and it's going to be many times more expensive. It's just a better product for a better price. I've done this. I spent a whole show over on Sundown at one of the kings. Like the Sundown is considered like the king in the car audio world. It's by far the king. And I was over there directly comparing multiple different Slaps products to Sundown's mid tier and higher tier products, pound for pound. And if you add the price in, they don't compare. If you don't mind the price, sure, you can get a little better equipment. Great, but you're going to pay many times more for it than you're gaining in actual performance. It just doesn't make sense to go that route. I'm not looking for a low price. My price range is pretty high. I'm looking for subs. I'm not looking for subs right now. Okay. For mid ranges, okay, let me see what you got going in your head. And I'll tell you whether or not you're making bad decisions. Dep Bonts, mid range, or Memphis Audio. Dep Bonts or Memphis Audio for tweeters. Probably Dep Bonts or American Bass. If you're looking at Dep Bonts, look at the Arnolds. But the Arnolds only play down to about safely about 150 hertz. So anything that you put those in, the Arnolds or the Sylvesters, both cut. I mean, about 150 hertz is as low as you want to take them, and it's probably closer to 200 hertz. They will get really nice and play really good at that range, but that also means you've got to have a mid bass driver to cover them. And with the slaps, they easily play down. They're rated to play down below 100 hertz. They actually play down lower than that. I, I I mean, I've heard the Arnolds. I've used the Arnolds. I've used the Sylvesters. I've heard them both in many different vehicles. They're great speakers. They'll probably do fine for you. Um, but I don't know why I would recommend them over the slaps. I can't think of a reason to put them over the slaps gear. Even if it's less expensive, it still just doesn't make sense to recommend them over the slaps gear. I've run them all. I've run some of the highest end DefBot stuff. I've run Memphis stuff. I've run a lot of Memphis stuff. Some stuff I like from Memphis. Some stuff I do not like from Memphis. I've run DS18. I've run Sundown. I've been playing in this game for a minute. Uh, what else you got here? American Bass, the Godfather, great subwoofer, but I wouldn't put it above the high end stuff from Slaps. The Smackdowns are absolutely on par with the Godfather subwoofer. Uh, their mids and highs, they have some really good mids and highs, but I would probably steer you towards DS18 for mids and highs over American Bass. Overall brand name, they're going to probably give you more of what you're looking for. Um, Not Memphis on mids and highs. I wouldn't do that. I would consider them for subwoofers. They're kind of in between the Rockford sub and that kind of mainstream low power but really good sounding subs. They're kind of in between that and an SPL sub. They're somewhere in the middle. They're not really SPL subs, but as far as their mids and highs, they're just okay. Nothing great about them. Recommendations on mids and highs. Not discussing money, just in general. I'm trying to think of the name of one company that has a really good mid. I can't remember right now. My brain is shut off. DefBonce's mids are good. They just don't. Their mainstream mids don't play low enough to suit me. Um, you wind up with weak mid bass. Hang on, I'm drawing a blank. Shoot me an email. All right, Cowboy Girl or Cowboy Gilbert. God, I want to say Cowboy Girl because your name's Gilbert. Yeah. Anyway, Cowboy, shoot me an email with your question again, and I'll dig up some stuff for you. I'll actually dig into it a little bit for you because I can't remember exactly the ones I'm trying to remember. B2, yeah, but you're going to pay for them. You mentioned B2 down here. They're going to pay for them, but yeah, they are good. You said that money is not really a big issue. I'd look at like the Riot or Rage series B2s. If they're in stock. Their stock seems to be bouncing quite a bit. A lot of companies are having that problem. But yeah, that'd be a solid choice. As long as you can afford the price and they're in stock. Absolutely. The Rage series would be one I'd probably point you at. Look at the Rage. But don't cut slaps out either. Look at your slaps gear. Consider, because if you're wanting really crazy mids, man, I'm gonna tell you, you ain't gonna find anything better. You'll find stuff that's just as good. Maybe you like the look of it better, but you're not going to find anything that sounds better um, than these slaps mids. Truth. Uh, Shadow said, I'm happy with SQL of the RF. The Rockfords just off gassing a bit. My concern is the RMS is underrated. Love the Rockford sound. Yeah, I agree. P3 is, yeah. Yeah, that amp is. Don't go bigger. You're not going to like yourself if you do. You will break things. Um, if you want to do anything, you might consider a different box. Rockford tells you, if I'm going out of my memory here, the P3, I believe, is like a 2 cubic foot box per sub after displacement. I think it was 2 cubic feet um, for the 12s. You say you're running 12s? Anyway, going a little bit bigger on the box may give you more output. So something to look into. Look at their maximum rating and try to find what their maximum rating is. If you can't find it anywhere, use their hotline, their customer service center, and ask them what their recommended maximum ported enclosure size would be for those subs, and try to build to that. You might find that that's more suited. Instead of increasing power, increase your box volume a little bit. You'll gain a little more output, and you'll gain more in the low end output, up to a point. And then you start breaking stuff. 215. So if I only do 215s or 218s in the cabin Silverado, when I do Slaps of Oblivions or Smackdowns, they both run in a similar box size, so you could do either one. Power don't matter. The Smackdown is going to give you the better performance, especially if you're limited to two. I would definitely say actually the 18s. But I will give you guys a little tip for those of you sticking around tonight. There is an Oblivion 18 coming. It might be a few months before it gets here, but it's coming. Still, if I was limited to two, I would try to run 2 SmackDown 18s if you can fit them. But that's a lot of airspace. And you said in a truck. Extended cab, is that the cab and a half or the double cab? If it's the cab and a half, you're basically going to be building a wall, because you're going to need all the airspace, floor to ceiling, from the seat back to the window, to get enough airspace for 218s. But if it's a double cab, you could probably fit 218s below the window line. If it's got the full back seat and the extra doors, the 4 doors, you could probably fit 218s below the window line. That would be the jam. JL's the only king. Hell yeah, man. JL. I love my JL subs. They're not made to do the crap that we do now, but they give a lot. They still do give a lot. I'll let you on the RMS situation. I love Rockford, so I'm sticking with them. But don't want to buy P3s and not able to make it perform with my amp. They say it will. I don't want to buy a P3 and I'm not able to make it perform with my amp. Yeah, I already covered that. Look into getting a bigger box. If only Slaps made batteries. And that's the thing. I wish, but and I'm really, really happy with Trunk Thunder Lithium. I've gotten really good batteries from them, and I've had really good luck with them. He's just struggling trying to keep up with the orders. That's the biggest thing, which is a good thing. It means, people are really liking what they're getting, and he's getting lots and lots and lots of orders. But it also means it's rough on a small operation. There's just 2 of those guys working that system. So they're working, man. I like that. Can I borrow a Cowboys credit card? They're comparing Sundown to Slaps. Which Slaps mid-bass compares? I might be interested. I'm going to tell you, bro. And yeah, I know that sounds like a ridiculous thing to do. And I expected when I went into that, I spent a whole show doing this. When I went into it, I expected Sundown to destroy the slaps as far as quality within some kind of reasonable price gap. But even stuff that was twice as expensive was just about the same as far as what it could do, its capabilities. Um, Pick your drivers and compare them yourself, man. I mean, I can go through it, but not everybody's wanting to watch that right now. But pick your drivers and compare them spec for spec all the way through. When you find something that literally lines up really close to a slaps driver, it's going to be much, much more expensive. You're getting a whole lot for the money with slaps, dude. It's hard to find a mid out there that even gets close. I mean, any price. These things are crazy. Hang on. All right. Give me a minute. I'm gonna run and grab something. I'll be back in a second. You guys, y'all hang out with the werewolf. I'll be right back. Welcome to the demo. Please enjoy your stay. If you want a really good video, lean over there and put your head right in that window right beside you. Let's do it, baby.
Throw it in park as I open the door. Baby, you wait in the truck. Old photographs scattered on the ground. Take a breath and my mind gets stuck. I can hear the screams, I can hear it all. Is it all just in my head? This whiskey bottle is keeping me sane, but I'm stuck in the past that night in the rain. Flashing in the headlights, eyes like a forest fire, running out through the woods. Screaming through the treetops, crashing through the mountains. This guy is up to no good. My blood ran cold as my lights caught a flash of something out across the plains. I stood there staring at a blood-soaked human covered with fur in the rain. The night the werewolf came. The night he went insane. Bloodshed in the rain on the night the werewolf came. The night he went insane. Bloodshed in the rain on the night the werewolf came. The crowd gathered round out there in the woods with guns all ready for war. Shots were fired at the big black beast. I can still hear him roar. The rain that night was a hell of a storm, and the blood ran cold as ice. But no one saw him hit the ground as he ran into the night. The night the werewolf came. The night he went insane. Bloodshed in the rain on the night the werewolf came. If you're out in the woods and you hear the scream, you better get ready to run. 'Cause the beast is coming, he's mad as hell, and he ain't scared of a gun.
I'm back. Hang on a second. Ah. Whew. All right. I had to go walk about. Just a second. I got some stuff I want to show you guys. Yeah. I had to go pull stuff out of storage. All right. All right. So, first of all, I'm gonna give you an illustration here. Just a second. I made a bit of a mess over here. I poured like I'd had 9 drinks, and I don't drink anymore. All right. So first of all, let's talk about your basic car audio 6.5. This is a Memphis. I like the way these M series sound. Relatively inexpensive. Okay. 6.5 with this phase plug. Nice little driver. Got a roll. Look at the power end of this. There's no cooling here. Okay. There's no cooling vents along the sides. Regular stamped steel basket. Nice little driver. This is the kind of driver you would typically replace your stuff with. Now let's look at Depbonts. This is a machete. It's very similar to the Arnold, or to the Sylvester, actually. Also, now this one, okay, this one has a vent back here. I don't think it's actually a cooling vent. I think it's actually just a hole for the wire. No, it's not. It may be a cooling vent. Yeah, it does. It has a cooling vent back there, and it has little vents along the sides. You can barely see them, but they're there. See that? To allow the voice coil to cool. This is going to be a good sounding little driver. It's also a 6.5. This is similar to a Sylvester. Okay. Now that's this one right here, right? This is the Slaps 6.5. All right. The back of this one, the motor. You see what we have back here? We have, I can almost get my thumb in there. I can put my finger in there. All right. That is running all the way through. And inside, you can't see it, but inside there's actually a fluted spot inside that's beveled to allow the airflow to come through here and nice and quietly. You've also got center pole vented, and you've got exterior pole venting around the sides. And this driver has an aluminum basket, not a stamped steel basket. It has push terminals on it. And this is from Slaps, guys. It has push terminals on it. And it has a nice aluminum basket, a vented motor, double vented motor for maximum cooling. It's a big motor. This is a Slaps driver. This is a Depbonts driver with a stamped steel basket. And this driver costs more than this driver. This is, I'm not talking out of my ass, okay? I went and pulled sets. I love the way these things sound. They don't take a lot of power, but they sound real good. And I've got several of these. This is the Slaps 6.5. Now, you guys have seen 6.5-inch drivers. How many have you seen that look like this? Okay. All right. That look like this. And what are the prices when you do find one? This thing is heavy. When you find one that's built this way, it's always very expensive. All right. It makes a thud when you set it down on the floor. All right. That driver, like I said, I'm not talking out my ass. That driver that you were just looking at is right here. Okay. That driver is $57.99 for a pair, for 2 of them. Do you guys see what the hell I'm talking about? It just is a better piece of equipment for less money. I'm not talking out of my ass. Go check them out. Um, Base Villa. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Let's see here. Uh, Base Villa, is that 3 jobs action right there? Hell yeah, man. For real. A man said he's cashing paychecks. I'm down with that. Either that or driving a truck. Same thing. If you're looking for cheaper, say 6.5 inch Pro Audio, two 6.5s in the door, my daily non amplified FXX 6.5. Yeah. Uh, Custom box built for it. That's part of the problem right there. 35 hertz is a high tuning. Um, Check into that. I mean, like I said, dig into it, find out if it's really accurately built. Just because somebody built a custom box doesn't mean that they built a correct custom box. And I'm not saying anything bad about your box builder or your box designer, even if it was you or whatever. All I'm saying is it might not be the right box for those subs. Um, Off gassing means that they're just, uh, when you say off gassing, that means you're heating the coil up. You're heating the coil up and you're making the wire hot enough to where you smell the plastic getting hot. Um, if they've been doing that for a long, long time, it's probably nothing to worry about. But that means you're playing high notes. High notes love to heat up voice coils. Uh, Maybe you're clipping. Maybe you're putting too much power on them. Um, all of those things are relevant. And without being there to listen, see, smell, interact with it, I have a hard time narrowing it down. But you're getting the coils too hot, is what's happening. How you're doing that exactly, I don't know. But I would say get a better, bigger box, a little more room, put a little less power on them, and you probably won't have that happen. But there's a whole lot of things that could be the case. I'm not there to make those real judgments. I'm sorry, but I can't help you in that quick fashion without having a whole lot more information. Uh, Price is fluid because I'm not buying everything all at once. Yep, buying each part and each speaker one at a time over time. Hopefully, um, what I showed you, and I'm not talking about brands. Look, if you ignore the brands of the stuff that I just showed you and look at what you're getting, just look at the product. Pay attention to the mechanical thing, not the name on it. It's hard to beat at any price, especially at that price. I mean, holy crap, dude. And if you want to know what they sound like, man, they kick balls. Um, I'd have to pull up a video, but I've got videos of me playing these guys out, where you can hear them, and they're beautiful speakers. Absolutely beautiful. These exact speakers. I would love to Rockford. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. They just kind of stagnated. They didn't continue on. They sort of got stuck in this particular level of car audio, and they never have really tried to go past that. That's why everybody's pretty much abandoned them in the SPL world, because they just didn't keep developing and innovating like other companies did. JL did that too. Kicker did that too for a long time, and then Kicker said, "You know what? Let's get back in the game," and they did. 412s in the back seat cannot. I'll run around 412s. So yeah, you got a double cab then. Yeah, 218s is going to give you quite a bit more than 412s. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. 218s significantly more air movement. Have you heard or seen the Aldous Design subs? No. I don't really travel to Florida, so I haven't seen them from there. Any from there. Sorry, I do not. I have not, do not. But there's a whole lot of equipment out there now. A whole lot of name brands. um, yeah, I showed you one of my favorites. Have you heard? Let's see. The P310 slapped pretty good. Got a pair sitting under the TV I'm watching this on. They got smelly. They get smelly over RMS. Yeah, they will. If they get too smelly, they'll stop working. Good system sounds. To off gassing has me concerned. Yeah, and now it had me concerned too. I'm thinking your subs may be on the way out. Hopefully, I'm wrong though. That's what my brain would automatically be thinking. Uh, Probably just clipping or overpowering them slightly. Yeah, agree with that too. You said no clipping and tune clean. I don't know. Uh, let's see. A random side note. I just remember my homeboy was running 4 slaps, 5Ks, or 8Ks on his rarely seen subs, quad father. Oh, yeah. That'll get down. 4 5Ks, I don't know how many. 4 5Ks. Usually a 5K is typical for one sub. A lot of guys that run a single sub run a 5K on them. It makes about 3,000 watts or so after rise. At the worst impedance rise, it's still producing about 3,000 watts, which is usually right in the sweet spot for a single sub. If you're going to beat the brakes off of it. So a 6.5 mid in a box, let's say, would porting have any benefit? Sure. You can port a sub, you can port a speaker of any size. Now, I mean, shit, your phone probably has a port in it. Most the little Bluetooth speakers have ports, or they have a passive radiator. A port makes it more efficient, no matter what it is. And whatever that tuning is on that port's going to either extend the shelf or it's going to boost an area, depending on what you're trying to do. A port uses energy that would normally be turned into heat and turns it into sound. And how you use that it varies from use case to use case, but you can either use it to boost a common frequency like 30 to 40 hertz, or you can use it to extend the shelf down so you can play down in the 20s rather than having it roll off around 30 hertz. So there's multiple ways to use a port. You can use a port on any small speaker to extend the range. And it works exactly like a subwoofer box. You might have a driver like this little guy. You put it in a box and it say it rolls off at 100 hertz, right? It won't play anything below 100 hertz, hypothetically. You can put a port in there that's tuned at like 60 hertz, and it would all of a sudden drop the range. You might have a dip. You may have to go down to like 80, a port tuned to like 80, and then it's going to have a dip. It's going to have more of a shelf before it drops off. You can get more output, but you're still going to have group delay with a port. You're going to have group delay with a port or a passive radiator, although with a passive radiator, it's not as noticeable as it is with the port, but it's still there. And group delay is this. Let's explain that in this scenario. And the group delay in this scenario, your driver's doing this. Okay. Every time it goes backwards, when it goes backwards, it pushes out the other thing. So once this driver, your main driver, starts doing its thing, right? It's on its back push, it's going to be causing the other one to go. And this other one, at a certain frequency, this other one is a passive. This can be a port or a passive radiator. At a specific frequency, it's actually going to move with the driver. And the main driver is going to almost stop moving completely, and this thing's going to go crazy. Well, the delay part happens as this guy's making its sound, and this guy's making its sound, they're off a little bit. And that causes a hit to go like that. Okay. Drum kick, boom, 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 boom. So instead of going dunk, it goes dunk. And that is the group delay. That causes the hits to be softer and a little bit more smeared. So that's something you always have to deal with whenever you're using the back pressure or the back wave of a subwoofer or a speaker of any kind. When you're using that to power an additional output device like a port or a passive radiator, you're always going to have some group delay. It's whether or not it matters. On higher frequencies, the group delay is so small that it really doesn't matter. But at low frequencies, it can be pretty big and can make your kick drum sound soft, squishy instead of nice and snappy. This is why all your hardcore SQ guys are all about sealed boxes. It's because of that reason. And he wants to know if I could finger the magnet a little bit slower with a little more rhythm. If I do, it's going to start playing lows. Or maybe highs. I don't know. So a 6.5 mid. Yep. Box would be any type advantage importing it, right? I'm happy with my PRB mid bass 8s. And guys, you think the magnet in the back of that 6.5 is something? You should see the ones on the back of those 10s. The magnets are huge. And I have to hold the thing with 2 hands. It's heavy. This thing has more my 10s have, I can put my thumb in there and do this. It's got a massive pole vent. It's got more motor structure than most subwoofers on the market. And this is a mid-bass driver. They are absolutely absurd. That's the only issue I'm concerned about. It's all turned up. But usually your song's heating them up. I have that effect on songs. I've been told it's to analyze voice coils and known for off gassing due to it. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, the P3 is a substantial more speaker than the P2 is. PRE 6.5 on the truck. I still love them, but my truck got hit a while back, so that sucks. The slaps in mid bass, not just mid range. Yeah, these are mid bass drivers. They're all mid bass drivers. And the rating on them is very conservative. What I mean by that is, I'll show you what I mean by that. Get me in trouble, but the frequency range is set on these 6.5s, I believe. Yeah. On the whoa, come here. What are you doing, you stupid freaking mouse? On the 6.5s, the frequency range is set at 110 to 5300. I can tell you they can play a lot lower than that, and they sound good playing lower than that. The thing is, if you play them lower than that, the 200 watt RMS figure is something you don't want to try to achieve. You're putting about 50 to 75 watts on them, you can easily play them down to 50 hertz. And they will give you good, solid mid bass. You're just not wanting to push this much power on them at that frequency. So this RMS rating is specifically for this frequency range. So as long as you're not putting this much power on them, you can go lower than this. Now, as far as higher than this, I know they will play cleanly up to 5,000 hertz because they will absolutely match up to a tweeter crossed over at 5,000 hertz. I've had them in that configuration, and they do really good. They'll do even higher than that, but they roll off at around 5,000, a little above 5,000, which it says 5,300, but a little above 5,000, they start rolling off and getting a little soft. They're not going to go much higher than that. But they will, if you don't put crazy power on them, you can absolutely get really, really good range out of them and good low amp power out of them. I have videos, but I don't know I don't know if I can find one very easily. Let me see here. Wow, I completely misspelled that. You're watching my typos? Y'all hush. Don't pick on me about my wrecked typing skills. There's one. That's not the right one, though. That's a different. Hang on a minute. That one was actually on Rico's. Here you go. Check this shit out. Let me get this, make sure this is up. You guys watch this shit. I got to break this up because it's going to demonetize my jamming, right? Let me, so yeah, I mean, that's the 10s. I know I've got one. I just don't know how to find it real quick. I got to watch, playing anything that's, copyrighted. Let's see. So anyway, yeah, they'll do the job. But we're going to get ready to call it. Anybody got any more questions for me before I pull the plug on this? Because we're going on 3 hours. Michael McDonald, you damn right, baby. In my opinion, he's got one of the best, most soulful voices in music ever. I'd like to hear Michael McDonald sing with Pink Floyd. What do y'all think about that? That'd be sick, wouldn't it? Anyway, we're going to get out of here for tonight, guys. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. But we got to get the Doug out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do it, baby.
Out here banging up and down the street, slamming it to the ground. Big subwoofers are getting loud, you can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go, got it shined up for the show. Hours charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, baby.
Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home. Another one bites the dust.
Y'all watch the cup.
Eyes are glowing and the amps smoking. Subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming. Gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go. 20 hertz in the floating air. Sparks are flying, voice cords are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust.